If you go back far enough, money doesn't look like money at all. In fact, people just traded what they had. Grain, cattle, tools. If you wanted something, you had to trade something tangible in return. A cow for supplies, a sack of wheat for equipment. Things were simple, but not so practical. So over time, society began to shift. So they moved on to beads, shells, objects that were scarce enough to hold value, but easy enough to move around. And then came coins, metal, standardized, stamped with authority, and then later, paper money. Cash that wasn't valuable on its own, but represented trust. Trust in the government system, in the idea that it could be exchanged for something else. Till now, the system worked, but right now, we're at a turning point. Bitcoin enters the picture, not issued by a government and not a physical object, but existing entirely in a digital space. It is really strange to think the next form of money could be something like this. After all, every form of money we've used has been a step away from the last. If everybody begun to use Bitcoin, not millions, I'm talking billions, then what would happen to currencies we use today? Traditional currencies like the dollar and the pound don't exist in isolation. Their value is constantly measured against other currencies. They move relative to each other, and that helps define strength. Bitcoin doesn't fit that same structure, it operates independently. So hypothetically, if a country like the United States moves heavily towards Bitcoin, what role will the US dollar play? And will it continue as a reference point, or will it become slowly less relevant? And there's another question easy to overlook. Bitcoin is divisible down to a small unit called Satoshis. But what if them small units become so expensive? Do we divide it further, or do we start rethinking how we price things altogether? At this point, the conversation becomes less about the technology and more about participation. What do we actually want money to be? Like a store of value, a bit like digital gold. Bitcoin seems to sit in between those two ideas, but it's not yet known what role defines it. Maybe uncertainty is the point. Money has never been a fixed concept. It's always evolved around people that used it. And Bitcoin seems a little bit like that. Still in development and still finding a place.